Good morning. We are interrupting programming for some breaking news in the wake of yesterday's mall shootout in Savannah, where several people were injured at the Oglethorpe Mall. Chatham County District Attorney Shalana Cook Jones hosting a press conference this morning. We want to go ahead and get you out there to the courthouse steps and hear her comments.
That bus is going to be loud. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning to the citizens of Chatham County, whether you're present here today or whether you're watching on the news. I am Shalana Jones, your district attorney for Chatham County. But today I stand here before you, not just as your district attorney, but as a citizen of our beloved county. I'm standing here to address and speak to an event, an incident that has impacted our entire community. Whether you live in Savannah or any of the surrounding municipalities, there was no way you could not have been touched by the shooting that took place at Oglethorpe Mall on yesterday. As the DA and as a citizen like you, I have questions and was glued to the screen last night and have spent the hours since then trying to understand how such a senseless act of violence could have occurred in such a public place. The shooting at Oglethorpe Mall yesterday was a shock, to say the least, and it was appalling for everyone, not just law enforcement and first responders, but for everyone in every segment and every corner of our beloved community. We have been keeping watch, and our position is that such a blatant disregard, a reckless disregard for the life and safety of others in that mall, of innocent shoppers and young people who have gone there during the day hours, because it's the last safe place that they can actually be. Such a blatant disregard for their lives and their safety will absolutely not be tolerated. I, as your district attorney, plan to hold all of those responsible, and I plan to bring the full weight of the law to bear in handling this case. The display of violence that we saw yesterday could have ended much worse. At present, we have not learned that there are any fatalities. For that, I am grateful, and you should be too. I acknowledge the quick and timely response, the action, swift action, and the bravery of all Chatham County and citizens of Savannah first responders, law enforcement, EMS. I give special thanks to our mayor, Van Johnson, who was present within minutes, to our sheriff, Richard Coleman, and to our chief of police, Lenny Gunther. I'd also, as your DA, like to send a special thanks to my prosecutors and staff who were on site within minutes to assist in the investigation of this matter. Mr. Christian Stoff, standing with me today, and Jenny Parker, who couldn't be with us, were at the scene until the wee hours of the morning when the rest of our citizens were asleep, doing everything that we could do in our current capacity to support the first responders at that scene. It is our sincere dedication to the safety of this entire community, from every corner of this community, from the boroughs to Bloomingdale, from Tybee to Thunderbolt, and yes, indeed, in Savannah. It is our thorough commitment and dedication to this community to offer you transparency, to offer our first responders teamwork and support as we begin to turn the wheels of justice in this case. We began working with the county and city leadership moments after receiving the word of the shooting. And with boots on the ground, we show up ready, not just last night, but today and every day after, until each of the people who were involved have been brought into captivity. As your district attorney, I am sending a very specific message, and I'm looking at every camera involved. I am sending a specific message to each and every person involved in that shooting yesterday. We will find you. We will see you. We will prosecute you to the fullest extent of the law. And not only that, I'm sending the message to them and to everyone in our community who is similarly situated to them that this will never happen in Savannah, Chatham County again. And the reason it won't happen is because we make public safety a priority. Because as your district attorney, I have children here, and like each and every one of you, I go to the one mall we have in Oglethorpe Mall. And like every citizen, not just as your DA, I was equally concerned about everyone's children who were present in that mall yesterday. And I have one question for them. How dare you? How dare you come into our community in a shared, common, supposedly safe place, and you put everyone at risk? It will not be tolerated. Thank you for joining me here on the steps of this historic courthouse. I have expressed, and I want you to know, citizens, I want you to be assured that this case will take the highest priority in my office. We trust our brothers and sisters in blue to do the work of law enforcement, and we have every belief that a thorough investigation will be turned over to our office for full prosecution. But we also know at this time that our job as prosecutors does not begin until that baton has been passed to us. And we, not just Christian or everyone in my office who's standing here today, we, not as district attorneys, but as a community, will keep watch to make sure that there is swift and efficient justice from the day they show up in handcuffs at the steps of this courthouse until this case is fully resolved. We will not allow perpetrators, terrorists, to go into our public places, our squares, and our malls, and instill fear in our residents and expose our public and our children to danger. We will not allow a climate in Savannah, Chatham County that is unsafe for our tourists and our visitors. We will not allow you to make a mockery of the history that has made this county so great. We will not allow you to frustrate the efforts that our government has made to make Savannah and Chatham County the crowning jewel of the state of Georgia. There is too much at risk, including the lives of our young people who are not involved in gun violence. We will not allow it. They should know that their moments of poor decision and indiscretion will be judged heavily and will be viewed under the public eye and the eye of law enforcement. I look forward to working with my fellow agents in law enforcement to achieve justice and peace and to deliver that assurance for the entire community without haste, pause, or delay. To those of you who thought it was a good idea to not only carry an illegal weapon into the mall, despite signs that says those weapons are not allowed, to those of you who thought that your own personal agenda or beef with whoever you were involved in should have been elevated above the safety of those of our community and our citizens. To those of you, I want you to know, we are watching. We value the sanctity of life, liberty, and public safety in Chatham County above all else. And I can tell you that I have been in close contact with our mayor and our police chief and others, our sheriff and others in law enforcement, and everyone who was on that scene last night. And if there is to be a silver lining in any cloud, I can tell you that despite whatever our personal and professional differences might be, we stand on one accord because we understand that this is something that touches each and every one of our citizens in this community. But I would be remiss if I did not also say that our community itself has a responsibility to police the community. When we rely on law enforcement and prosecution as our only measures and tools for securing public safety, we make ourselves vulnerable to danger and risk. And so, while part of my call here is to deliver a message to those assailants and to provide some kind of security and assurance to our Chatham County citizens, this is also a clarion call to our community. I am not going to comment on the facts, the identity of those involved, or the specific details of the investigation because I understand that that is not my role and the investigation is not complete. And as your prosecutor, it would be premature for me to rush to judgment. But what I can say is that this was deliberate and coordinated. And because it impacted our community as a whole, I am here to make a clarion call to our community for community response. What I am saying is that somebody knew that those young people had guns before they came to Oglethorpe Mall. Somebody in this community knew that that was going to happen. Somebody in this community knows the people who are involved, even though they haven't been publicly identified yet. And what I'm saying is that our best chance at prevention is collective, collaborative community action. And I'm saying that with all the sensitivity in the world, because as your district attorney and the top prosecutor of this county, what you need to know is that by the time a shooting like this happens in our community, it is far too late. So what I'm saying to the members of our community is that we need to get a grip on our young people before they get a grip on guns. These guns and weapons in our community did not just appear. What I'm saying to our community is that we have to reconcile America's love affair with firearms and weapons. You cannot both claim that you have and embrace a right to carry firearms when our children are shooting each other in the face in Ellis Square and at Oglethorpe Mall and in the streets in the Barrows and in the 30s. We have to reconcile the fact that our community, nationwide and yes, here in Savannah, has a problem with gun violence. And until we decide as a collective community that we will do everything we can to take hands out of the guns out of the hands of young people, we will continue to see this violence. What most people don't know is that prosecutors have a season that they call the dog days of summer. What we know as police and prosecutors is that the index and occurrence of violence increases drastically in summer months. And we see it more in domestic violence and in public shootings. I will remind you that there were a few years ago, there were public shootings down on River Street during the 4th of July celebration. During the summer, we had shootings on Avery Street and throughout our town. But I want to make a clarion call to our community, because this incident at Oglethorpe Mall can't just be the most recent shooting. Unless and until we take action to do something different and shift the mindset, unless and until we take action to do something preventative before our kids get their hands on guns and firearms, unless we collectively put our political differences aside and intervene early, we will continue to see cycles of violence in our community. And that's something, ladies and gentlemen, that's an issue not just for law enforcement, not just for your DA, not just for your electeds. It is an issue for you as well. To the community and everyone under the sound of my voice, you can help us by denouncing gun violence. You can help us by denouncing snitch culture, which prevents us from bringing people to justice. You can help us by alerting us when you are aware that there's a firearm in the hands of somebody who should not have it. We need your help, because it does take a village. The time has come and the hour is long spent for us to quibble over small political differences and personality conflicts. The time has come for us to stand together, as not just as law enforcement, but as a collective community, to say no more violence in our community, no more guns in our community. We need to support the efforts of your elected officials, but we also need to act. As your district attorney, I am often asked to attend rallies and protests to end a number of different causes. I have attended in the past and I will continue to do the same. But as your district attorney, I'm telling you, I am tired of making noise and doing nothing. I am calling on every teacher, every coach, every parent, every mentor, every Greek letter organization, every social organization, the Chamber of Commerce, and everyone in every area, because this is an all hands on deck situation. Unless and until we make both that shift in mindset and the investment, there will be no winners in gun violence in Chatham County. And so everybody has to put not only their money, but their knowledge and their service where their mouth is. It is easy, too easy, to comment on community events on Facebook. If you have an issue, you should come with a solution. My door and my office stands ready to accept your partnership, because you can keep your complaints. If you're not acting, you can keep your complaints. This is a clarion call, not just because it must be done, but because it can be done. I'm not going to make you any false promises. Many of you will ask me what I will do, how I will judge the evidence, and what I'm going to do next. I'll tell you that it's premature for a prosecutor to project an outcome in a case, because I have to review cases as they are presented to me. But I can tell you, I can assure you that we will resolve this case as swiftly as possible, with all of the laws, techniques, and strategies that are available to us, because we know how important this is to you. But rest assured, even though this is how we handle all gun charges in our office, even though with every shooting, every public shooting, no matter where it takes place or who it takes place in between, our office's policy is to add firearms charges, whether it's possession of a firearm by a convicted felon or possession of a firearm by a convicted possession of a firearm during the commission of a crime. Because our lawmakers have said that this is so important to them that they put these laws in place to add an additional 5-year penalty on top of whatever the penalty or punishment will be imposed for the underlying offense. These are the legal tools and strategies that we plan to employ whenever these individuals are captured. But I want to impress upon you that you should make no mistake that we will prosecute this case and the individuals involved to the fullest extent of the law. But I also expect to see community action and change, and I'm willing to lead the charge on that, because these are not law enforcement problems, they are not prosecutor problems, they're not even mayor problems, these are community problems. Now that I've expressed to you what my legal intention is, I'm going to share with you my personal opinion. What we need right now, in this moment, not just the people on the steps, Jenny Parker, but what our community needs most is unity, peace, order, prevention, and a collective consciousness that the war on our citizens and innocent bystanders must end. I'm telling you that as your prosecutor, I want as much heat, as much resolve, and as much action put behind this as there was, and as much commitment as there was to the war on drugs in the 80s and in the 90s. We need to put to and announce a war on gun violence. And we need to take all-out measures to do so. As your district attorney and the top prosecutor for this office, I respect everyone's rights to believe what they believe, to have a God they name, to have no God at all. But I would be remiss if I didn't tell you that what I think we need right now is prayer for our law enforcement, prayer for public safety, prayers to cover our youth so that their lives are not cut short by senseless violence. We need calls for collaboration. We need prayers for our government and everyone who is responsible for making any decision in this process. I have asked members of our faith community to offer public prayer on those issues, and some of them have joined me today and are on the steps of this courthouse. Let that be a signal and reminder to you that we not only need the protection of the shield, the power of the prison, we also need hearts of compassion and the help and assistance of every public servant in every capacity across this county. And I will say, just like the voting process, if you don't vote, you can't complain. And right now, if you don't get involved and if you don't act, stay silent. We are not the only first responders, so are you. And I expect everyone in our community, I hope and I pray that everyone in our community will show up, show out, and make a loud statement against gun violence in Chatham County. I'm going to end my comments here and take questions from the media. And after I do that, the call to prayer will be made from this podium.
District Attorney, I know that you can't talk about specifics with this case, but a lot of people, just even with business owners we interviewed, people out in the parking lot said the words gang violence. Is that a problem in our city, in our county? Is that something that y'all are looking into with this case? I know you can't talk prematurely, but can you answer that?
What is your name?
Sarah Smith.
Sarah, the policy of my office is to leave no stone unturned. If there is gang involvement, we will charge it. That will heavily depend on what's presented to us once this investigation is complete. But Sarah, did I get it right? What I want to add to that is that a wise person once told me that we are more interested in labels than we are with symptoms. And whether you call it gang violence or gun violence, in America in general and in this county, we have too many guns in the hands of young folk.